Hello, this is Heidi with Dilly Dahlia, and today we're going to be making an owl card using our Owl SVG die cut, which is found free on dillydahlia.com. And for those of you who have shortcuts a lot, I'm going to include just a really short overview of how to import and use our die cut. First, what you want to do is to go under File and then Import, and then find your file. If you go under the folder, there's several files in there. I include separate files for all of them, but use the one called All-in-One. This is a good one to use because it will allow you to size everything all at once. When you import it, you'll see that all of them are together, and you can size them down, all of the cuts at once. And then what you can do is just move the pieces off the board that you don't need. So that way you can ensure that all the pieces are going to fit together. And then when you're ready to do that, you can just right click and hit ungroup, and that will allow you to move the pieces off the board that you need to, and you're ready to cut. So go ahead and cut to about 3 inches the pieces from the owl die cut. Okay, so I've cut out all of our pieces, and I'm using the basic gray marjolaine papers, and I've just kind of used various ones of those papers in different patterns, just to kind of create some interest and coordinate as well. And then we're making an A2 size card, which means the finished size will be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I cut a piece of cardstock that is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. And then we'll start to work on that part of the card in just a minute. And right now I'm going to put my owl together and get all that together, and then I'll come back and work on the rest of the card. And through the magic of television, here is the owl all put together. And I actually just glued down the background to the eye directly onto the owl, and then I pop dotted the 3 top layers of the owl. So I'm going to put that aside, and then I'm going to start on the actual background of the card. I want to give it a little bit of texture, and I need to fold it first. Again, it's 8 1/2, and I'm going to fold it to 4 1/4. And what I'd like to do is use my brand new Martha Stewart scoring board. It's really neat. It has all these different lines on it, and I'm going to line it up on the edge, and then I'm going to go out to 4 1/4, and I'm going to just score it with my bone folder and scorer. And then I can very easily, without ripping fibers, fold the card and then use my bone folder to just crease as deeply as I can. And there you go. Now, to make it a little bit more interesting, what I'm going to do is use a texture folder. This one's just a swirly one that goes with my Sizzix Texture Boutique. And I'm going to just sandwich in between. I call it the sandwich plates. I don't know what they call it, the technical is. But I just am going to do the front, of course. So I put it into the texture plate, and I'm going to roll it through there really quickly. And I bore you with the rolling part, but here it comes out. And we have a nice, beautifully textured front of the card. And I did it so that the front of the card, the texture sticks up. Now what I'm going to do is take some pigment ink and just kind of very, very lightly run the ink over the part that's sticking out on the top of the card. So just very, very lightly. I want it to look kind of organic and not necessarily just all perfect. So I don't really want it to get any on the very back part of it. I want it just to kind of be on the sticky up part. That's my technical term for that. And, but I don't care if I get a little bit on there. It's fine for it to be a little bit organic and a little bit just kind of as is. So I'm just going to ink that. I've got kind of an olive green ink there. I think you can see. And now what I'm going to do is flatten out my card so I can work on adhering my elements. And I'm going to put the owl in the center and then move it up just a tiny bit. And I've cut some more pieces of the marjolaine stock, and I'm going to put them down at the very bottom edge there to kind of cover up where the embossing doesn't go all the way to the edge down there. So what I'm going to do is just glue these strips together. One of them is 1 inch and the other one is 7/8 of an inch. I'm just going to kind of glue those together and then put them down at the bottom of the card. And I'm using my glue stick that has the permanent adhesive on it, just because whenever I do something where I either have applied paint or where it's not completely even, the glue sticks, at least for me, seem to stick a little bit better. So that's just my personal preference, but you could use tape runner or whatever you prefer. So I've got that stuck down now, and I'm going to get my flower. There's one of the papers that goes with the marjolaine that has several flowers and medallions on it, and basically what I did was cut out one of those medallions, and or you can use your punch. I didn't have a punch quite big enough, but I'm going to just position it there for now, but I'm actually going to end up putting a pop dot on it, I think, just to kind of give it a little more dimension. And then I have a piece of ribbon with adhesive behind it that I'm just going to probably stick there, and just to add a little more interest, a little more dimension. And then I have my little word, my words, and they're about 1.5 inches by 5/8. That's about what I cut it. But you can do that as, whatever fits for you that will fit into that space. And I just used one of my Stampin' Up! Stamps, the mini thanks stamp. And I'll just go through and put all that together. And then to finish up, what I'm going to do is to put a little detail on the side. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this, stick everything down, and now when I put ribbon on, I don't know about you, this is just a habit I got into. I always make it, I don't cut it exactly, I leave a little off the side, and just because I hate those little frayed ends. So this kind of helps to, at least I think it does, to kind of make sure that when you snip it there, the glue is kind of in place underneath it, and it's hopefully going to stay and not fray. And of course you can wrap it around as well, because we'll be doing something to the edge of the card that will require you to line it in anyway. So now I'm just going to put it all together, and here it is. And you can see I also put a little detail on the edge there. And what I did was I used my Bazille in Stitches kit and my paper piercer, and I went down one side and put some dots, or some holes, and then went right down beside it and put another line of holes, and then just did a little X stitch with some green thread up the side, and that just kind of was real easy. And of course it creates some ugly on the inside of your card, and again, I would probably recommend doing an insert in there about the same size as the card, or you could do something slightly smaller to give it a little bit of a margin all the way around. And you can also do different messages. Mine's a thank you card, and I'm doing it for my children's teachers. But you could do anything that you thought would work. And of course, that is our owl card from DillyDahlia.com. Please visit Dilly Dahlia and download your free SVG. And if you have any comments or questions, please leave those for us. Thank you so much.